This episode is brought to you by Welch's Fruit Snacks. Back to school season can be tough on parents, but choosing a snack you and your kids can both get behind doesn't have to be. Stock up on Welch's Fruit Snacks, made with whole fruit, and now made with no artificial dyes. It's a snack kids already love, and one you can feel good about giving them. Go back to school with Welch's Fruit Snacks, now made with no artificial dyes.
Everyone knows that unexplainable it factor, that smile that lights up a room, that wow. Well, it doesn't happen by itself. There's chemistry behind the charisma. Colgate Optic White Pro Series toothpaste removes 15 years of deep-set stains when you brush twice daily for 2 weeks. How? The clinically proven formula is powered by Colgate's hydrogen peroxide complex. It works at the molecular level to gently dissolve stains deep within the enamel where your brush can't reach. It's proof that daily routine can be remarkable. That's the science of wow. Colgate Optic White.
This is the Weekend Check-In from the Modern Taoist with Kip Mann. Join the absolutely free Modern Taoist community on Patreon at patreon.com/The Modern Taoist. And now, Kip Mann.
Hello. Welcome to another episode of The Modern Taoist. My name is Kip Mann, and this is the Weekend Check-In episode for, what is our third weekend in August? Is that where we are? It's interesting that we're at this point. I had a whole different weekend check-in sort of thing planned, but I went to the golf course this morning, as I do, and it was a different feeling when I left the house. I early in the morning got out there by about 8 o'clock. And there's something that happens late in August in our hemisphere this time of the year, and it happens in the southern hemisphere as well, just the other direction. You guys are getting warmer as we start to get a little cooler, and you don't really feel it in the daytime, but you feel it in the morning. The light has shifted somewhat. And it's nothing overly, dramatic. It's just that the days are still long and the heat is still there in the afternoon. And there's something in that air, though, that feels different than June. The shadows are longer. The air at 7 in the morning has something in it that wasn't there 2 months ago. That is the season giving notice. And some people in the northern hemisphere begin to feel a little bit of grief because summer was supposed to be more than it was, right? The things that were going to happen did not happen. This version of summer that you had in your imagination in May with your travel and your relaxation and long evenings with a glass of wine and sitting around, that all showed up in your expectation. And then actual summer showed up, which had its own plan. And what our expectations are and what actually happens, as we've talked about before, are rarely identical. And now that summer is ending, with it goes the possibility of all of those things happening that you assumed would happen. And if you are in the southern hemisphere, it's the other way around. You are going into your summertime. So I want you to remember that as well as you start to have these expectations in your head. Most people in the modern world do not live inside the seasons the way that we're designed to do, because it's almost impossible. If you work in an office or retail environment or any indoor facility, the temperature in August is the same as it is in November all day long. The only time you experience a different temperature is when you're going to and from your car. We talked about this on the last big episode. The supermarket is the same regardless of what the growing season is. You still get strawberries in November. right? Your schedule, your what time you wake up, what time you go to bed, none of that changes. But as we talked about in the last big episode, your body knows. It always knows. And the pull towards earlier sleep as the dark arrives sooner, your body feels that. The change in the appetite as the warmth starts to go away or it starts to arrive, the body begins to notice that. And when you're where we are in the northern hemisphere, your body starts to reach for foods that it wants through the cold, the soups and the root vegetables and things that take time to make. There's a slight contraction inward that begins when the sun withdraws. Your body is already preparing. Even though it's mid-August, it's still warm outside. It's 93 degrees today. But it wasn't this morning. When I stepped out, it felt like fall. Most people override this because the schedule doesn't accommodate it, but the preparation of your body is happening. In Taoist terms, autumn is the season of gathering. Not the gathering of summer. Summer is the outward movement, the flourish, the full expression of what spring promised. Autumn is the gathering back. The tree begins moving its energy from the leaves towards the root. What began growing outward in the warm months starts to return to the center. And a Taoist does not wait for winter to slow down. They read the signals of the season and they begin the adjustment now. Not all at once, but the way a tree does it, gradually, following the movement of energy rather than fighting it. So what does this look like for a human being, a modern Taoist in 2026? It looks like the beginning to ask what was generated over the summer, the projects, the relationships, the energy, and what is worth carrying into the quieter months. Summer produces abundance. Not all of that is worth keeping. Trees don't hold on to every leaf right off the bat. We release what was seasonal and concentrate on what is essential. So the question for the person at the end of the summer is the same. What from the last few months is worth taking into the interior season? And what summer-specific things can we release? Let your social pace begin to slow without guilt. Remember, if you're in the southern hemisphere, this is all the opposite. You're going to start to speed your social pace up. Summer has its own social pressure. Events and gatherings, obligation to feel like you need to be outside and visible, participating in the season. Autumn begins to give you permission to come inward. Not to disappear, but to become someone who does not answer messages. Right? That lets the calendar breathe a little. Let the evenings become something other than a commitment. Autumn also looks like paying attention to what your body is asking for. For many people, it means sleep. You want your sleep to come earlier as the dark arrives sooner. Your appetite shifts. The need for movement changes. The Taoist practice is not imposing a season on the body, but let the body respond to the season to inform your life. Preparing to be inside. Winter is on the way, and that is the season of stillness, of going down to the root, of reflection, of what might be coming or what you just went through. Not an expectation, not a prediction, but a reflection. And if you arrive at winter depleted, autumn is where you build your reserve. If you arrive at winter depleted because you treated autumn as summer, you're going to find winter to be very hard. The person who began gathering themselves, their energy, and start building interior resources, quiet practices, you'll find winter to be a much more tolerable season of depth and meaning. So this weekend, do two things. First, take stock of the summer, not as a performance review, not like that. Not what you accomplished or failed to accomplish, none of that. But what was generated? What moved inside of you? What relationships deepened and clarified? What did you learn about where you are in your life? What did things like this podcast during the summer months bring to you? Summer shows things. The longer light, the open time, all of this creates conditions in which you become visible. So what became visible for you? Secondly, ask what you want to carry with you through autumn. What matters most in your life right now? What deserves resources that will need to be available in the quieter months? And what can you leave behind? What from summer was just seasonal? It was just summer. It was useful in its time, but we can release that. I'm not asking you to mourn the summer. I'm asking you to receive what it gave you and move with the cycle that is coming, because you have about 30 days before fall arrives. Treat summer as a transition, or the end of summer, rather, as a transition. The season fulfilled its purpose, and now we make way for the next one. You're going to feel grief that summer is gone, that the things you wanted to accomplish never got accomplished, but you're mostly grieving the gap between what you imagined would happen and what really happened. The actual things that happened, whatever it contained was real, right? Right? And the autumn that is coming has its own purpose, its own invitation. A Taoist prepares, not against the coming season, but with it. The gathering begins. The slowing down begins now. The turn inward begins now, while you have time. That's your weekend check-in for today. Follow the show so you don't miss the full Tuesday episodes of The Modern Taoist. And if this hits you right, give it to someone that you may know. Send it their way. Don't forget to like and subscribe and heart and thumbs up and do all the things you're supposed to do, especially if you're on Spotify. Every subscription helps us with the algorithm or whatever to give people a more of an opportunity to hear the show and find us. So thank you so much, and we will see you Tuesday right here on the next episode of The Modern Taoist.
Thanks for joining this weekend check-in from The Modern Taoist with Kip Mann. Like, follow, and subscribe on this platform for new episodes every Tuesday. And join the free Patreon community at patreon.com/themoderntaoist or visit us online at daoananda.com.
Hi, Ryan Reynolds here for Mint Mobile. Are you looking for a beach read this summer? May I suggest your big wireless bill? It's got suspense, mystery, a slightly flat, emotional arc, and a shocking twist where you realize you've been overpaying the entire time. Fortunately, though, Mint's story is better. Every plan, $15 a month, even unlimited. That's it. Happy ending, 0 tears.
Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, or $180 for 12-month plan required. $15 per month equivalent. Taxes and fees extra. Initial plan term only. Greater than 50 gigabytes may slow when network is busy. See terms.